How's it going? This is Rice Bonds, Montana DeYoung. And we are through three packages. And one of them was for a high end card that I was expecting. Two of them were for low end, high grade cards that I've been eyeing for a while and decided to finally pull the trigger on. I've made mistakes in the past of buying high grade, low end cards of bonds that didn't do it for me, but both of those really do it for me. So maybe I'm just becoming better at being selective about what I go after. Uh, okay, now this card is absolutely stunning. Just a massive card. It's a limited exposure card. So for the ones that are standard, the ones that have the player on both sides. God, let me see if I can find the card that I'm speaking of. But there's a limited exposure version of Barry Bonds where he's on both sides of this card, and those are reputed to be out of 37. I can't remember what source I heard that from. Anyways, a couple of Vlad collectors have been talking about this card for a while, and I just realized that it's one of the cards that hasn't been on my radar because it's not exclusively Bonds, but it's also from the limited exposure set. It's just one of the other sort of subsets. And I don't think this is nearly as well known. It's not nearly as well regarded. Uh, a guy in the 90s baseball insert group, Rob, showed off his cards one time and showed off this card in particular. And I told him, Rob, if you ever come across another one of these, would you please just drop me a line, keep me in mind? And lo and behold, he came across a trove of high end Vlad cards from which he plucked a couple for his PC, and he reached out to me directly first to show me this card and to ask me if I would be interested in buying it. And we hammered out a deal. Both of us were surprised by how inexpensive the unlimited talent limited exposures are compared to the more storied version. I'm gonna have to cut in a picture of the card that I'm talking about. Oh, it's the Star Factor that I'm thinking of, limited exposure, instead of the unlimited talent. So the Star Factor limited exposure is still a pretty underground card, but much better regarded, held in higher regard, much more known, and much pricier. This is a fraction of the price. Of course, it's not exclusively a Bonds card. It has two different players, but I mean, I'm a huge Vlad fan. I love this player. Loved watching him. Just an exuberant player. Just so much fun to watch. Man, baseball was fun back then to watch. I hesitated a little bit because I'm really sensitive about refractor lines, and you may have seen that there's a line there, but I could live with that. And it's not. And there's one there too across the middle, but these are not like refractor lines. They're more print lines. They they don't bother me as much as some other lines do. This is not a card that I have to hide away forever because I can't bear to look at it because of the lines. This card is beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. And Rob bent over backwards to get this card over to me, and I owe him one. There's a lot of people in this hobby that I sort of owe just because they've been so good to me. Like I don't think I've done anything other than show my enthusiasm for a player to warrant some of the help that I've gotten from people. But it really is moving to know that when somebody thinks of Barry Bonds, I'm one of the first collectors they think of to reach out to. It means a lot. This card is a story for me. Right now, since I'm not in a position to be just buying willy nilly, I think that I'm going to try to spend more time helping out other collectors with their cards. Maybe instead of selling duplicate bonds for a couple of bucks, maybe use that as fodder to help some other collectors' land cards that they've been looking for. That's really just a thought that I've had in my mind. I hope I can execute on. But this card is meaningful to me. It's just such a beauty. I mean, look at this card. The foiling is spec. It's spectacular. This card is unreal. And if it is really out of 37 or 40 or whatever, I mean, I believe it. This card is just never seen. It's just never seen. And I couldn't believe when I saw that the Jeter had sold for some, middling amount. And so I was really fortunate to have met Rob and for him to have thought of me for this card. Thank you, Rob. This is amazing. I really appreciate it. I love this card. Okay, guys. Thanks.